welcome you to the 2019 edition of the Human Resource Expo Africa HREA Summit. This year's theme is the art of employee engagement.
Back then, you probably didn't know what a computer was. Probably for a project, you have to go to one cyber cafe and print it. They did their projects themselves. On their bed. They did their research. They know how to do research, probably more than you and I. Yes, that's true. You need to embrace that. So you don't understand, you're not trying to come in and wait for 10 years to be a manager or to be able to do this. You don't understand close doors to their ideas. They want to be able to walk up to them and say, okay, can we please do this? I can do this work as I read it up somewhere, I watched it in a movie somewhere, and I'm actually doing my research and it's going to work. So I think they have a lot to offer, whereas they also need guidance. Because some people don't know where they're heading, we need to just guide them to where they need to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Also competing against what we would have regarded as hobbies. You're also competing against the things that you would not even think of as anything. You're competing against them. So it's either you as an employer or someone else, or themselves. They can employ themselves. So I think we should think about it in that broad sense when it comes to attraction. So we'll go around the room if anybody has, or someone third.
Okay, you also asked how do you retain them. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday and I said to the person that if you look at Gen Z now, we're gradually collapsing the Maslow hierarchy of needs in what they're looking for. They're not the set that is looking for psychological needs. They can feed themselves. They're not the set that is looking for security. You realize you are employing an NYC student whose car is as good as the CEO's car. So what are we talking about? Yes, so that's not what they're looking for anymore. They're actually looking for an environment where their work has meaning. And we need to start creating that environment where they bring something on board and they understand that yes, what they have brought on board actually is valuable because they believe they have ideas. They are very idealistic in nature and they know that their ideas. Sorry, I'm still in millennial. But then we discuss with people above us. We see the essence of having mentors above us and they tell us, okay, this is how things are done, and we're just very quick to accept that this is how things are done. We're not there to question why are they done this way. We're not, we just accept it. This is what they told us, that is it. They talk amongst themselves. In short, they are their own mentors, they are their own coaches, except of course if they see you as to be somebody who is flexible in nature. They are their own mentors and their own coaches. So they amongst themselves discuss their own ideas and they amongst themselves agree that that idea is good. So you realize that before they present their ideas to the CEOs, because CEOs are not bothered about all of those things, but we need to look at how to present it. If not, they are gone before you blow the end.
So I'll just answer what you said. I'm just going to talk about flexibility. If you work in an environment where you have a lot of Generation Z, I think we should just try to make it more flexible for these people. Growing up, what you want to be, like you said, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. Growing up, I wanted to be a stage performer. My father wouldn't have it. It was not even a conversation. I had to find another path, and here I am today. But if my parents allowed me to do what I wanted to do, I'll be Tiwa Savage today, But my point is just make it flexible. So
how do we then motivate these people? And what are the new ways, new methods that we can actually motivate these guys and get them to actually give the best work that they do and feel valued? So that's the conversation.
So if you want to deal with somebody who is born into technology, give them an enabling platform, to make them feel like they are home, really. So don't be too manual. I know technology is expensive, but if you can, it will affect your bottom line in the end. So if it will make work faster, make work more efficient, then give them technology. I think that would help. Another thing is flexibility, but I don't know how flexible you can be. Honestly, because me too, I'm craving for work from home and things like that. But let's be honest, how many leaders can accept it now? And do we have the enabling platforms? I used to work from home twice a week, though, where I used to work. And it boosted our engagement so much. You understand? Mondays when people are shouting, hey, Monday, me, I'm like, hey, yeah, sorry, 8 o'clock, I'm standing up from my bed. Do you understand? So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, really.
To your question on how do we motivate Gen Zs, increasingly I'm starting to find that for people of this generation, it goes beyond the pay. Many people want to find meaning in the work they do and outside of the work, and so the challenge to us is how do we create opportunities for meaning in the work. So one thing that we're already starting to explore in my organization is something called flex experiences, where opportunities within the organization are posted for anybody to apply to, and it's not being posted as a full-time role swap. It's while you're doing the job you're doing. For example, if you're in HR and an opportunity comes up to activate a brand or launch a brand in marketing, as a HR professional, you have the opportunity to be a part of that project team. So I think looking at that, how do we create opportunities? How do we democratize opportunities available within the organization? Might be a way to go. To the previous discussion on Gen Zs and working styles, for me, I feel it's a very exciting time to be in HR. I think the generational changes are forcing us to redefine work and how we view work, how we've programmed ourselves to think of work. So there's the flexibility bit to it, but it's also forcing us to think, do I really need someone to sit in this role full time? Again, some of the things we're looking at in our organization is how can we be more creative around our FTE? Many people do not want to be chained to a job forever. We want experiences. We want to be able to do so many different things. So how about crowdsourcing? What are we doing with freelancers? Why do we think that to do a particular job, you need one person in that role to do it till infinity? So I think basically the whole generational discussion questions, I feel, presents opportunities for us in HR to come up with creative solutions to actually attract and retain these people, because a lot of the conversations I'm hearing across the room is this battle for control. How do we still retain our ways of doing things? How do we make sure, or how do we make sure that our employees who are of a different generation do things the way we've always done it? But if it's producing the results that you're seeking, what's this conflict for control that we're still holding on to in our organization? So basically what I'm saying in essence is the way we do work, the way we engage, we attract, we retain, will increasingly come under the microscope in this generation, because our current ways of doing things in businesses will not be sustainable in the long run. And I'm glad at these conversations, because it's also making us realize that what these benefits, we're providing, flexi working, agile working, it's not really a gift we're giving to employees. It really is a competitive advantage. To stay relevant, we'll have to rethink many of our practices as HR.
Thank you very much, Joy. I really liked that. I really like what you just shared. There's something that I read once, and I think it will be useful in this conversation. Just in allowing ourselves to break out of that box of control, and about making your organization a great place to be from. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because when you're a great place to be from, people want to come to you, so automatically you're very attractive. We all know very well here, there's some organizations where if you have them on your CV, that you've either done a project for them, you work for them, even for a short time, it actually instantly in terms of how can I create my organization in such a way that people are proud to be from here.
Okay.
Ask the question, so let's get some answers.
I want to ask you.
How can we make our environment conducive for these guys?
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay, so in a setting where there's a dress code, you must do this, no that, no this, and then you have a Gen Z that is struggling. How do you retain that kind of person and still not affect the culture of the workplace? By example, okay, so there's a guy in my office, he's a graphic artist. He does work well, yes. But his line manager keeps coming to the HR, coming to us and saying, this guy is not doing what I asked him to do. I know they don't want to be controlled. I know they don't want to be forced. They want to have their way. They want to be in subordination, and she's always reporting him. Now he's 6 months already. His probation period is rounding up. He's going to finish probation in April, and the challenge with us is, are we retaining him or we are not? Because he has had a lot of performance issues, so in a place like that, sometimes he's dressing and you're like, so what did you wear to work? What is all this? He doesn't care. But in situation like that, because if you give him the chance to do what?
It's actually a funny thing that we seem to be talking about creating a space for them, like they deserve to have their own space. We seem to be leaning towards isolating them. So you have your space, I have my space. I do my thing my way. You do whatever you do. All I want is results. Actually, we are going to isolate them. They don't learn from us, we don't learn from them. But then the divide remains. I think what we really need to look at or look into and work towards is removing that divide. Reverse mentoring, where you allow, normally the normal thing is the more experienced person mentors the younger ones. But in this case, they mentor you. Not because they know the job more than you do, but they have the tools that make your work easy. These guys are driven by relevance. As long as they believe they are relevant, they want to stay. It's fun. I got into an argument with my assistant on Monday, and it actually became hot. And I had to carry a whiteboard, a whiteboard and a marker. And then I wrote down our points. I wrote down my points. And I said, you know what? My EDOs, that person I report to, is also a millennial. It's just around 28. So I said, now, this is what will happen. Go and do your research around this particular matter. If you can present it to me and I buy it, I'll either help you present it to me or I'll give you the platform to present it yourself. So basically, she already knows actually that she can influence decisions. That's one. Two, she already knows that she has a say in what's going on. So she wants to work. Whatever tool you have, put it to use. Give me the result I would have achieved if I were to do it myself. But then, are we looking at putting ourselves in such a position where they actually trust us enough to allow us to coach them? Many of us actually will not listen to us because as far as they're concerned, we are old school. Methods we have, don't work with them. Why? The processes are too long. It's boring, it's strenuous. But then listening to them and making them understand, we understand what fear they are coming from, makes them open to actually learning from us. That way, gradually, the divide disappears and then we can relate. Basically, I believe if they are able to relate with us in a way that they are comfortable with, then
19, moving on, you won't be getting CVs of a 30-year-old guy or a 30-year-old girl who wants to be an intern. You see CVs of 20, 19 when they call you, like, you even feel intimidated in a kind of way. Because these guys, they know what they're doing, they know what you're saying, they'll just give you a question that you just can't start it and answer the question, you are not even sure. So we should make this culture, okay, there's a culture, but how do you make it flexible? Because the people coming in now are the Generation Z. So how do we make it flexible for these guys? And again, for the guy that is working, the graphics guy that is working with that line manager, maybe they can't work together. Why not switching teams? Put him in another team. If he can work with that manager, means they can't work together. So I think for me, that's it. Or if the manager feeling insecure, and if he sense insecurity, you should go for training or development. He needs training, he can't work alone because this is teamwork. He can't work alone.
Okay, it's better. So if he says his idea is better, and the manager is like, I asked you to come up with a video, you come up with okay, Why can't he do the video and do his own work? They compare together, which one is better? We understand these people really want to be there, they want to be heard. I have them in my company, and when the line manager comes to me that I don't understand, I said, don't worry, there's a way we manage them. Hear what they want to say, hear them out. Like he said, put out the points, play the card on, okay, which one is better? Which one can we use? Which one can the company benefit from? It is important. The end game is just the outcome, the result. These people are very vast when it comes to technology. They know it more. You cannot compare a graphic designer of 6 years and now, or 10 years ago. My graphic design manager graduated in 1990. No, not even 2000 before. 1999. And you have a guy, this line manager cannot even use 3D. But I have a guy who has not even finished HND from your battery, very fast in 3D. And we know that doing these things, you need 3D. That's what they use now. And the line manager says, no, I want that done. But when they bring it, no, it's true. When they bring it, I will compare. We compare together. When we go on social media, we see 3D out there. That's what sells fast. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think they should compare the two together. Let him come up with the video and do it his own way. Bring it together. Which one is better? Can we merge it together and give it a beautiful color? So that's my input.
Okay, so this is something I played out. I worked formerly for an oil and gas fabrication firm some years back. So about 2 years ago, we engaged this guy who came in, and upon graduation he had C-suite, he had PMP, and you're coming into a firm where the guy who you're going to report to just got his own PMP certification, and that's like after about 10 years of working. So they had another top manager who was in charge of both of them. However, this new guy was faster, more innovative, he's thinking on his feet. But to his other manager, he's like, no, you don't know it, you don't have the experience, you can't do this. The day he came for the first interview was even the biggest problem. He said he was not dressed in a suit. He's not properly dressed for the interview. I was staring at him like, I don't understand. This is actually an engineering firm. We let it go, no problem. However, where he proved his point was when he was taken to the field. He was properly dressed for the senior manager. Like, are you going to go on the site like right now? And he said, yes, I'm good. Because he was fully kitted. He had the safety boots on. We just gave him a hard hat to take to the site. And translation of the drawings was mind-blowing. Everything he was doing was just so on point, and we're like, so what's going on? So at some point, what we tried to make the manager understand is, at the time when you left the university, at the time all these years that you've been working, it's just been the normal way of working. But these guys are in school and they're thinking way ahead of what they are doing at the moment. You need to meet him at his own point. Forgetting the fact that culture still remains. The company culture, the company values will still be adhered to. But you need to find your way around working with him to create a better enabling environment for both of you. Because at the end of the day, you can't come back and say, oh, HR, you need to let this guy go. You need to justify why you have to let the guy go. Because obviously, you are not understanding his style of work. So at the long run, they had a better understanding of both themselves. Because he saw that this guy was more innovative and faster than himself. So it brought a blend to their job. Good thing, it was a point of reference for all other line managers. Because then Gen Zs, that was the point when Gen Z started coming into the company, a whole lot of them. And it actually changed the style of work in the firm.
Okay, my point of view, I'm going to come from different angles of it. First of all, from what Jumoke has said earlier from our questions. said they have this Gen Z in their company and they are finding it difficult to keep this person because of a difference in culture, difference in reasoning. For me, I think it's first and first is this person went through a process before coming into the company. So it's important to always, because I know the situation in which he works in, and I know that they define the recruitment policy and process there, and there are different policies that are in place for this person to have actually gone through that process. It means that they found something that is very, very important. I'm coming from a very controversial angle to it, from what everybody else is saying. Is that now, if this person came through that process, normally I would assume that the process was flawless and everything was well seen. They measured everything that needed to be seen, I think, which means that the person confirms to the culture they were looking for and the attitude and skills, all the competencies they were looking for. And this person changed when the person was employed. That means there's a difference. The person didn't elicit this attitude of non-conforming during the recruitment process, during the sourcing process. It was only during the work process this person started eliciting this attitude. And I would also assume that they've actually tried different ways to make this person understand that the culture here is different from what you're looking for and what you are. I was having this conversation with Shakir yesterday and he said something. Sometimes you don't have to fix what is not broken. You get? If you feel that that person is a problem to your company, don't make your company a problem for the person as well. Rather let the person go. So if the person is not conforming to your culture and the person cannot actually fit in, and you have a structure that's already in place and you are not willing to actually change, why bring somebody that is going to be uncomfortable at the long run into your system? So why don't you allow the person to actually just go and go to a place where the person will rather flourish? That's my first point of view. Another angle to it is, which I love the way he has actually placed it, is that we are actually being stereotyped about this whole HR absorbing processes. HR processes does not have to be very stereotyped. You don't have to actually practice the same thing every time. We're talking about the Generation Zers. Now, we've had different generational traits over the years, and we've absorbed them into the system. We've changed systems, changed processes to actually absorb these people into our mess. It means that our processes does not have to be rigid. We have to always develop flexible processes to absorb any generation that we feel would add value to the businesses and downline of any company that we represent. And as HR people, most of the everybody has actually said here, the problem has always been between the line managers, not HR people now, between the line managers and their subordinates. So it means that we need to do a little bit more of orientation advocacy to our line managers in terms of understanding the cultural differences that this generation bring into the workspace, the advantages they would bring to us in that regard. That's my point.
Okay, I just wanted to brief about this. So, I'm hearing things around what we can do, or what is actually happening to managers and what's happening to Gen Zs. Maybe we can actually coach our managers. Maybe we can train them. Maybe we can make them understand that this is reality. We can't avoid them. They will be around us every now and then. They will come in as interns. They will come back as full staff. We can't actually do without them. I'm thinking maybe we can organize team bondings and organize debates and make our teams understand or see the difference between Gen Zs, millennials, boomers, and make them understand that look, just drop the topic. Let's even see if our teams actually understand these Gen Zs. If they don't, then maybe HR can help them. If you're a business partner, if you attend team bondings with your businesses, you can show it up. You can start from there. If you have bosses that you know they cannot calm down to accepting the fact that this guy is around, you can start with that. Maybe that would help. Because if you want to start firing the guys that have been there for years, I mean, are you going to keep firing everybody? Because
most managers in that level, you know they don't want to come down. They've done so much for the company, and they won't want someone who's just 2 months old or 3 months old to spoil all their homework. So I think we should look into it. We don't have to fire anybody, I'm saying that again. we can actually do something about it.
Okay, thank you for everything. I appreciate everybody's submissions about this, and I hear that we've been able to talk about things to do to keep them within the system. But what do we do even before they come into the organization? What do we do to these people? How do we manage them? Because I mean, these things we need to look at it from all angles. Keeping them while they're in the system, and how do we also manage them before they even get into the system? First of all, our recruitment process. No Generation Z wants to attend first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level interviews. Now, I have had to work. I had to work with a particular organization where one of the process of their recruitment is gamification, where you play games. You play games because you're being interviewed, and the intention is for them to be able to know how swift you can walk. I mean, also another thing that we do is that these people are people that are ready to talk during interviews. They say things. They say things, and it doesn't mean that we as HR practitioners should condone nonsense, because it doesn't mean we should take, we should allow them to be rude because they can talk. You understand? But these are people that when you come and ask them, why are you leaving your present job? They tell you, I have a bad manager. But for some reasons, the generations before the Generation Z, when somebody says that, you tell, why would you say that in an interview? And then because of that, we as HR people hold them for what they say. If you continue to hold the Generation Z because of what they say, very soon it will take you 100 years to feel the role, because people continue to say their minds. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, we should find possible ways to manage them, even before getting into the organization, to do something about them. Ensure that we create an enabling environment for them even before they get into the system. Thank you.
All right. I think we've come to the end. I think the most important point that I've just heard around the room, and I think since we're all HR practitioners, we can take back to our organizations, is like change is here, change is inevitable, and I think it's our responsibility as HR people to be at the forefront of driving that change, of making our organizations, more accepting of the change that is already here. Except if, like she said, you want to be taking 100 years to fill your role, or you want to be having like maybe 6 months, they'll come in, stay for a few months and leave you. That's fine if that's what you want. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Yeah.